Hi, my name is Ilse from Muse and these are my 10 favorites. Favorite app, WhatsApp. Indonesia. Oh, it's called Vis aan de Schelde here in Amsterdam. Fantastic fish restaurant. Dutch stroopwafels. Bagel with salmon and avocado. Bedroom. My dad and my brother. I can pick two, right? Sports. Gin and tonic. I like the Hendrix gin with the pink lemonade. That one is the best. Ooh, let's see, stroopwafels actually, I would say. Hi, my name is Ilse from Muse, and Oaky has asked me to tell you something about PMS, or Property Management System. So a PMS is a property management system, and just to put it very, very simple, if you've ever stayed at a hotel, the system where you check people in, where you check people out, where you look at your bills and your invoices, that is what a PMS is. That's the simple explanation. I think the more difficult explanation is it's really the heart of a hotel. For any hotelier, this is really where you store all your information about your guests. If you look at all the interfaces that a PMS can use, it really becomes the heart of the operation. So anything that has to do with rate management, with storing your details about your rooms, about integrations with your restaurant, with your bar, with your accounting system. So the PMS software is really where hoteliers keep all of their data, and it is the true heart of a hotel. So it's really quite hard actually to just group them together in categories, right? I think first and foremost, server-based and cloud-based. And I know we'll get to that a little bit later, but that would be my main definition. Then also I think it's probably good to define them between basic functionality, so really easy, just check in, just check out, posting a bill on a posting a charge on a folio, and really nothing else. Then I would say there's quite a lot of PMSs that have more functionalities, such as integrated channel management, etc. And then you really have the powerhouses of today that have very advanced functionalities with integrations for revenue management systems, for events, for POSs, etc. So if I were to classify them, I would probably say cloud versus server, and then functionality based. So you'll find that there's the server-based and the cloud-based, right? So server-based is, as the word says, it is on-premise, it is based on a server, hence it's called server-based. Whereas cloud-based is based in the cloud. We find that a lot of the legacy systems, right? So anything that started back in the days was all server-based, just plain and simple because we didn't have cloud at the time. So a server-based PMS is, you need hardware. You probably need a lot of hardware, you need workstations, you need a lot of people to maintain those servers. It's not fantastic in terms of upgrades, for example, because you're server-based and you don't have access to all the information in real time. You're probably going to have quite a lot of downtime upgrading your servers. The IT responsibility is completely yours. And I think for server-based, what probably the most disadvantage is today is that they don't have an open API. Now, just to explain just a little bit what that is, it's in simple words, it means it's very hard to integrate any third parties into a server-based PMS. Whereas with a cloud-based PMS, you don't really need all that much. You need stable internet connection, you need a workstation, so basically a computer, that's really all that you need. Any infra, any security, any upgrades is all done by the person who's hosting the cloud, so your PMS provider in that case. So there's very little risk for you. Equally, easy to learn. We often find that the cloud-based solutions are much easier to learn than the ones that are server-based. The cost is much lower than if you have a server-based PMS. So in essence, for me, the only reason why you would ever choose a server-based PMS today is if you are based in a remote location where internet may not be as stable. So I would say it's one challenge that we face today is, for example, legislation online, right? So things like the GDPR that's coming into play around May time, local policies, right? So we have quite a few countries that we're moving into that have all kinds of compliances that we need to attend to. Online security is obviously a really big one. But equally, I think it's the hotelier and the ever-changing landscape that is always a bit challenging for us. So what that means is, just a super simple example, right? Everybody is used to going to the airport, checking in online, having their QR code in their hand, scanning it, and off they go. But how many hotels do you see today that actually offer this? So I think there's two things, right? It's the expectation of the guests. They are wanting to check in online, they're wanting to move ahead into the 21st century. And it's the hotelier that is maybe not as aware or as comfortable by saying, right, what is it that I can do with my software to really focus on that guest experience? I don't actually know where to start, right? I'm a hotelier and I don't necessarily know everything about PMSs or all the integrations and apps that we have to offer today. So I would say that today is probably one of our biggest challenges. But when you're selecting a new PMS, I think there's multiple things that you need to take into account. So first and foremost, choose whether you want to go server-based or cloud-based. In my opinion, cloud is definitely the way to go. Secondly is, I would urge you to look at all of the manual processes that you do today in your hotel. And then by analyzing whatever you can kick out being manual, see how you can automate that. So if you look on the right-hand side here and just look at the ecosystem that you see, I just want to highlight a few things here. So let's start easy, housekeeping. Right, so how many hotels do still have the housekeeper that comes down around lunchtime, gives the reception a sheet, and then the reception turns all these rooms from dirty to clean around noon? But what happens if your guest is standing in front of you at 10 a.m. in the morning, right? He wants to check in, all your rooms are still dirty, you need to phone housekeeping, there's always this constant battle between housekeeping and front desk. If you can automate that by giving the housekeeper an app and just turning the room from dirty into clean, simply by clicking a button, then you've automated that process. So another thing which I think is a great example is integration with a bookkeeping system. So for example, when I worked at reception, every time that there was a transaction that I was doing with a guest, so checking in, checking out, what have you, the moment that they were checking out, I had to walk to the terminal, I had to key in their credit card details, a slip came out, had to staple that to the invoice. At the end of my shift, I would calculate all of my visas, my MasterCards, etc. I made sure it balanced, and I would bring that whole stack of paper to the accounting department. So within the accounting department, there was yet another person that was going through all of my files, making sure everything was okay, keying it into an Excel file, etc. If you can automate this and not having, for example, an integrated merchant, right? So no more me taking a credit card, walking to a terminal. It's much more secure. It's much faster. Because it's integrated, we automatically send it to an accounting software, and that whole business of doing the papers and bringing it down to accounting and that person checking it is all eliminated. So if anything, look at your manual processes that you have today and see where a PMS can help you with all of your integrations. So that would be my second point. Thirdly, cost, right? Definitely important. So look for something that actually matches your budget. Training, is it easy to learn? Can you learn online? Do they have a university? Do you need people to come on site and hold your hand? Can you do telephone training? Is there a manual that you can easily teach, or do you need to sit in a room for 5 days and actually understand what you're doing? So that's important. And I would say last but not least is service, right? Software as a service it's kind of an industry term, right? So I don't think we should forget the S in the service. If the software is great, but the service is absolutely terrible, that's probably not the way that you want to go down. So that would be those would be my points if you want to choose for a new PMS. So it's a bit of a tricky question to answer, I think. I think first and foremost, I would hope that all of the systems have understood to move out of their whole legacy-based PMSs. So everybody has moved to the cloud, one for sure. Everybody has understood the importance of integrations. Functionality, right? So where some of us are still very, very small, the other ones are super big, but don't necessarily have the whole cloud base behind them. I would hope that within 5 years, everybody has understood what the key features are. But first and foremost, I would actually say the focus on guest experience, right? So let all those features work for you, let all those integrations work for you so that you as a hotelier can actually focus on what you do best, which is being a hotelier, and let those PMSs work what they do best, and that's being software. So I'm hoping that in about 5 years' time, Muse will really be the single source of truth, basically meaning that we will have direct integrations with all of the OTAs. There's no more need for a channel manager. Hoteliers, like I said before, hoteliers can really focus on what they do best as being a hotelier, and we worry about the rest. So to me, that actually means that we will have tons more integrations than what we have today. We have very good functionality, but we don't have as much functionality as, for example, the Operas of this world do today. So I'm hoping by that time, we have completely conquered that and we will have wiped out all of the powerhouses of today. Geez, good question. I guess I'll probably still be working in hotel tech. Like, I love hospitality. I'm a hotelier by heart. Love hospitality, love tech. Where I will be, I probably be in Amsterdam still, unless the rainy weather really catches up with me. And by that time, I'll probably be in Barcelona. But hotel tech for sure. So honestly, I think Oaky is a little bit like Muse, right? So we are both startups, we're doing super well in the industry. So I'm hoping that in 5 years, we are the startups of today, but I am sure that in 5 years, we both will be the stars of tomorrow.